Welcome to another Looker Studio tutorial. Today, we will create a multi-page report with 4 dashboards on organizational performance. We will show you how to create a cover page, display information using various charts and visuals, and use advanced filters and formatting. So, let's have a look at our data, which we will use for this report as data source. To create a dashboard from this data, we will first unpivot this data. Any data, which has attributes on column headers, instead of repeating in rows, is most likely already pivoted. Already pivoted data is, in most cases, not suitable for dashboards. Unpivoted, or raw data, being more flexible, is more appropriate for dashboards and analysis. I encourage you to use applications based on the task you are performing. Some applications perform some tasks better than others. For example, you can unpivot data more efficiently in MS Excel as compared to Google Sheets. Therefore, we will unpivot data using MS Excel and then copy or import the unpivoted data to our Google Sheet. To unpivot this data, go to the Get Data, click on Table or Range button. If the range is not a table, it will first convert it into a table. Simply click on the OK button on the Create Table prompt. Now our range has been converted into a table, which will be used in a data model. Our table has been imported into the Power Query. Now we can go to the Transform tab and unpivot the table. But first, we must decide which columns we want to unpivot. And then select all those columns. In case of this dataset, we would want to unpivot all columns except year, country, region, and branch. Once we have chosen which columns we want to unpivot and selected them, we can click on the Unpivot Column button to unpivot those columns. Now, except the columns we did not select, all column headers of selected columns have been transformed into one column named Attribute, and their values into a single value column. We can rename the table. Let's call it Unpivoted for now. Click on the Close and Load button to load this table into the Excel file. We can use this data for our dashboard. We have multiple ways of doing that. If data is too huge to simply copy, we can upload it as CSV and import it into a Google Sheet. But since this is a small dataset, we can simply copy and paste the data. We can simply copy this table and go to our Google Sheet. Here we will paste the data as values. Pasting as values will make sure nothing extra is copied like formatting. The data has been copied successfully. Let's rename the file to Taxes Digital and the sheet to Data. Google Sheets are saved automatically after changes. Now, we must go to the Looker Studio to create a dashboard based on this data. Here, we can create a new report using the blank Report button. As soon as the report opens, Looker will ask you to connect to a data source. Although you can ignore and close this prompt, it is better to connect to your data source, which in this case is Google Sheets. Here you will find all available spreadsheets, including the one you have just created. First select the spreadsheet file and then the sheet you want to import. You can also open the file from here. It is the same file we want to use for our dashboard. After selection, review the settings. Our first row has headings, and we want to include all cells. We do not want to include any specific range. Finally, click on the Add button to add the data source to your report. Then you will see a prompt asking you to confirm if you want to add the data source to your report, where you can cancel or confirm by clicking on the Add to Report button. Looker will add one visual to your report on its own, which you can remove or modify. It is also recommended to give a proper name to your report. Just like Google Sheets, Looker reports are also saved automatically. We will start our report by adding a cover page. Simply click on the Add Page button to add a page. Now, we will add a large image, closely related to the subject of our report. We can insert images from an online source, using a URL, or upload from our computer. After uploading the image, we will place the image on the page, covering the entire page. Uncheck the Preserve Aspect Ratio to fill the entire page with the image. Now we will add a rectangle and fill the page with it as well. Then we will adjust the transparency of this graphic so that the image behind is barely visible. Now we can add a title for our report using the text box visual. Adjust the size and style of the font as per your liking. Change the color of the rectangle to black and the color of the font to white. Let's move the cover page to the first position and change the page names as well. On this page, upload the logo of your organization and place it at the top left corner of the screen. For easy and precise placement of objects on Looker Studio pages, turn on the Snap to Grid feature and set its size to an appropriate value. Resize the logo to an appropriate size. Now, place the rectangle on the top of the screen, stretching from one end to the other. Place it behind the logo. Place a text box next to the logo. Enter an appropriate title for this page. Adjust the size, font, and color of the text to your liking and requirement. Do not simply apply colors and formatting to your text, graphics, and visuals. Go to Theme and Layout and switch themes. Your formatting should respond to the currently selected theme. Your colors should always change with theme. Always try to customize the theme instead of coloring individual elements. This is the professional approach of visualization, and it will also save you a lot of time and effort. Now, let's display the current year profit on top of the page. Go to Add a Chart menu and select a scorecard. Place the scorecard at the top right corner of the screen. Add the value field to the metric. This will display the sum of entire value column, which includes every attribute and year. Add a filter to limit the attribute to profit. Select Attribute field. Select Equal to in condition. And select Profit in the value. Enter a name for this filter and click on the Save button. Now, the scorecard will display profit, but it will display profit of all years, since we have not limited the year yet. To do that, create another filter, this time on the year field. Again, select the Equal to in the condition and 2024 in the value. Give the filter a name and click on the Save button. Now, the scorecard is displaying the profit of latest year. Let's change the title of the value field to Profit. Now, let's display country-wise profit during 2024. Delete the auto-generated table. And add a pie chart to your dashboard. Place it at the top left corner of the dashboard. Add the Profit and Year 2024 filter to display the profit during 2024. Now, go to the Style settings and add visual borders and rounded corners to your pie chart. You can also add a title to your visuals in the Style settings. Let's call it Profit by Country. And make it bold. Now we will display the region-wise profits in our dashboard. You can use the existing pie chart by making its duplicate. Simply change it to a bar or column chart. This chart is displaying profits by countries, and we need region-wise profits, therefore we will replace the country field with the region field. Now, this chart displays top 10 regions, because number of bars are limited to 10. We can set any number, larger than the number of regions, to display all regions. Change the title of this chart to Profit by Regions instead of Country. Since there is only one item, which is described by the title itself, we do not need legend in this chart. Now we will display profits by branches. To display data by country, let's add a drop-down list box and add the country field to its dimensions. Add borders and rounded corners to this drop-down for better appearance. Place it at the header of the page at an appropriate location. Create a copy of this visual and place it next to the existing one. Replace the country field with the region field. We can display metric in these fields as well, but let's remove them and display dimensions only. Now, copy this visual as well and paste it next to the existing one. Replace the region field with the branch field. Now, this entire page will display the specific information of branch, region, or country, selected in these drop-down lists. You can select multiple items as well. The visuals will then display their aggregated information. Let's add other attributes as well. You can use existing chart, creating its duplicate. Place the chart at the top right corner of the dashboard. We can use a list instead of chart to display this information. Replace the region field with the branches field to display branch-wise profit instead of region-wise. To change it from paginated list to scrollable list, we can set the number in top N to more than total branches. Change the title of this visual to Profit by Branches. Now, we will display historical data in a column chart to compare profits of each year. Duplicate the column chart, remove the revenue and expenses filter. Add another filter to display revenue by cash or credit only. This will display the breakup of revenue by cash and credit. You can observe that the total of revenue column is equal to the total of both cash and credit columns. Change the title of the chart as well. We will duplicate this chart and use it for our next visual. Place this chart at the bottom left corner of the dashboard. Replace the region field with the years field to display profit by years instead of regions. Since we have limited the year to 2024 through filter, it will display only the year's profit. Remove the year filter to display the profit of all years in this chart. The columns are sorted by value, sort them by years. Also sort them in ascending order. Great, now change the title of this chart to Profit by Years instead of regions. Now, let's display the profits by branches on a geo chart. We already have a visual with profits by branches, which we can use to create a map chart of profit by branches. Place the visual at the bottom left corner and simply change it to a bubble map chart. Now we have all the branches on a map chart, with profit values displayed as bubbles. Our profitability dashboard is now complete. We can now compare the performance of each branch and region to other, and by years as well. Now we will create another page to display and compare the performance of other attributes by countries, regions, and branches. Go to the Page menu and add a new page to your report. Go back to the profitability dashboard and copy the header. Paste it on the newly created page and change the heading from Profit to Performance. Copy a chart from previous page and paste it here. Replace the field in Dimensions with the Attributes field. Remove the Profit filter. Add a new filter, allowing only revenue and expenses to appear on the chart. Place the chart on the top left corner nicely, and change its title to Revenue and Expenses. This chart will allow us to compare revenue and expenses of entire organization, as well as specific country, region, and branch. To display information of a specific country, region, or branch, we must add some drop-down lists. In the first drop-down list, add the country field to the dimensions. You can remove metric field if you do not want to display any information, or use filters to display specific information before each item. This will display profit of 2024 in the list. Duplicate this drop-down to create one for regions. Place it next to the country drop-down. Replace the country field with the region filed in dimensions. Create another list box for branches. Place this drop-down next to the region drop-down. Add the branches field to the dimensions of this drop-down list. Now you can display information of entire organization or a specific country, region, or branch. Use these drop-down lists to select country, region, or branch. You can select multiple items as well, and the information on the dashboard will be aggregated accordingly. Create a copy of the revenue and expenses chart and remove the revenue and expenses filter. Now, add another filter, allowing only sales by cash and credit. Enter an appropriate name for the filter, and click on the Save button. Change the name of this chart to Sales by Cash or Credit. Duplicate the sales chart and remove the filter on sales. Now, create a new filter to only display sales by product category. Add all product categories and then enter an appropriate name for this filter. Save the filter, after which it will be automatically added to the chart. Change the chart title to Sales by Products. Add another chart here to display the breakup of expenses. Remove existing filter on attributes and create and add new one showing admin and other expenses. We can also display this information on a pie chart. However, now we need to display the legend, otherwise we will have to hover our mouse pointer over the pie chart to know what each item represents. Change the title of this chart to Expenses. Copy the pie chart and remove the filter on attributes. Create another filter on attributes, allowing financial and non-financial transactions only. Add a name to the filter and click on the Save button. Change the title to Transactions. Now, duplicate this chart and remove the filter on attributes. Add another filter on attributes allowing male and female employees. Add a name to the filter and click on the Save button. Change the title of this chart to Employees. Add a gauge visual to your dashboard and place it at the bottom left corner. Copy formatting from one of the other charts and paste on Gauge chart. Change the title to Profit. Add 0 to minimum and 3 to maximum values. Add year 2024 and attribute profit filters to this visual. Change the aggregate function to average and title of value field to average profit. Create a duplicate of this chart. Remove the attribute filter and create a new one on units sold. Add a name for this filter and click on the Save button. Change the minimum value to 50,000 and maximum value to 150,000. Change the title of this chart to Average Units Sold. This dashboard is now complete. Change its name to Performance. Add a new page and copy header items from another page. Copy a list visual from another page and paste it here. Place it at the left corner of the dashboard. Add attributes to the dimensions. Make sure there is no filter on the attribute field. Change the title of this list to Attributes. Create a duplicate of this list and place it here. Add the country field to Dimensions. Change the title of this visual to Countries. Change this table to a table with heat map. Now this table will display top performing countries. Change the title of this dashboard to Top Performers. Duplicate the countries table and place it here. Add the regions field to the dimensions to display top regions. Change the title to Regions. Duplicate the Regions table and place it here. Add the Branches field to Dimensions. This will display top branches in selected attribute. Duplicate the branch table and place it at the bottom right corner. Change it to a bubble map chart to display geographic information on map. Our dashboard is now almost complete. Unless an attribute is selected, the charts are displaying information of all attributes at once, which makes no sense. To correct that, we will use a list control instead of a table. In a list, we can limit the selection to one item only. Add the attribute field to control field of list control. And set the default value to profit. Select the year 2024 filter to display 2024 information only. Check the single select option to force the control to select a single item only. Also uncheck the allow select all option. Our dashboard is now complete. By default, it shows top performing countries, regions, and branches by profit, which you can change by selection another attribute in the list of attributes. And with this, we end our tutorial today. The link to this report is placed in the comments and description below. Thanks for watching. We hope you liked our tutorial. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more insightful tutorials and updates.